In today's video, I'm going to talk about the 5 reasons why I hate my Volkswagen camper. Hear me out and listen right to the end where I say my most hated reason. Reason number 1, the gear change. The Volkswagen camper has a really long gear stick. It's hard to change gear. My boyfriend told me once that someone had once told him that if you're struggling to get in a gear, then lifting the clutch up and then putting it down and then putting it into gear helps. I find screaming not in a gear helps a lot.
I'm not in a gear, I'm not in a gear, I'm not in a gear, I'm not in a gear.
Hot, not in a gear action.
Okay, I'm in a gear.
Yay, we did it. Okay, now.
The second reason is the safety or lack of. So in my Volkswagen camper, I don't have the spare wheel on the front, which can act as that crumple zone. So I was involved with Formula Student and I designed the impact attenuator, the bit that goes on the front that crushes, essentially takes all the energy out when you have a crash. And I actually got to see that being tested. I think I'm gonna put that spare wheel on the front just to give me a bit more of a bounce. The other safety aspect concerns for me is the fact that the seat is bolted to wood. I don't quite understand, and it wobbles a lot and it's not safe, and I haven't quite investigated why. So it'll be right meat, as the Yorkshires say. Third reason, oil leak. So I know that old cars have oil leaks. I was prepared for that. But recently the oil leak has got that little bit worse. It's fine when it's stationary, obviously the oil's cold, then when it warms up it becomes more viscous and it just pours out as you go along the road, and it's actually getting to be quite a problem. When I used it a few months ago, I had to top up a load of oil more regularly than I'd like, so that needs investigating. It could be a simple gasket that's gone, but the engine's like in a really awkward space and I just don't have the guts to investigate it. And because it leaks so much oil, I just don't trust it. I don't trust it to go on really long, cool expeditions. Maybe we'll get there someday, I don't know. I need to just go out and investigate this oil leak. I just need to get it done. The fourth reason why I hate my Volkswagen camper is the expectation versus reality. I own a couple of old classic cars, so I know that the expectation versus reality is different, but this is such an iconic car. Whenever you say like you have it to someone, they're like, oh, that's awesome, I'd buy it straight off you. Like, that's amazing. Like, when in reality it's slow, it's got very little storage space, I don't trust it to go long journeys. The reality is different. I inherited this van and it is a daunting project. I didn't realize how much of a daunting project it is. As I say, I have classic cars and somehow they're less daunting. I don't know whether it's just the sheer size of it or the fact that it is so iconic and I'm a bit scared about getting it wrong. I just find it intimidating. So the expectation versus reality from a kid who used to draw them obsessively in, I'm gonna say school. It was in college, but I'm gonna say school. School makes me sound cooler. But yeah, the reality of owning one is a hard bump to reality. I don't quite like it as much as I like the idea of it. The fifth reason why I don't like my Volkswagen camper is the interior. There is nothing in the interior when I got this. I mean, there is some bits, so there's wooden bits, there was a rock and roll bed. It just was sort of start from scratch project. I wouldn't have chosen this much of a Volkswagen camper project. I would have chosen something a little bit easier. I would have chosen it with a bed. I would have chosen a cupboard in there. It's daunting. Things are now starting to fall off. The trim at the top falls off. The windscreen wipers falling off. Everything that is attached, those wooden slats are falling off, everything that's attached is falling off. So it has a little to start with and now it's just all falling off and out. The seat itself is really uncomfortable to drive. My friend hired one for a 2CV race that we watched you can watch the video of us watching the 2CV race cars at Donington. So she hired one and I sat inside and it was delicious. The seat was soft, it was the sort of correct, like, it was a good seat. Like, it was a good seat where you could sit there cruising along at a slow speed, not caring. You just get into that gear and it was a good seat. That's not what we have in ours. It's I don't know what seat it is, but it's not comfortable, not mounted right, not anything. Even things like the rock and roll bed isn't quite installed properly. Like, your interior is inhabitable because it doesn't have a mattress. You can't just get in and go somewhere. But mostly I hate the way. I don't hate you, not even close, not even a little bit, not even at all. Comment below if you know what that film is. But yes, it was my childhood dream. I do like it. I'm gonna put a series out where I try and make it better and show you some of the adventures that I have already had with it. It's about making it that little bit more comfortable so that we can just jump in it on a weekend and get out in it. We can go to all the events and get into that scene and just start liking it and that little bit extra. So I'm gonna start a series on here about trying to get that interior up. I think that's the first job, that interior is sad. So subscribe if you want to see that, or if you like watching me fix, drive and race classic cars. I will see you next time. Bye! On to the bloopers, but I don't think there are any bloopers because that was amazing. I'm proud of myself for for recording that video that fast. And my battery only ran out once.